Tourists who come to Palma di Maiorca can admire the splendid 14th century Gothic Cathedral of St. Mary. But they are certainly more attracted to the beauties of nature, like the sea and these immense beaches of fine white sand. But we came to the island to have a look at the waters surrounding it through electronic eyes.
Simrad is introducing now a touch screen for the yachting market, and our philosophy in developing the touch has always been to make it as simple as possible for the user, and that is the case with a lot of things that we are doing now with all our technologies. You're going to find that when you use Simrad that you can include a lot of new technologies into the display, and we are trying to make it as you see it in the car, where you have complete control of the boat and all the systems on the boat in that display. That is why we are now also introducing touch to make it even easier for the user to for the boat owner and for the user to use our equipment. We are finding that most users today are not on the boat more than 15 days a year, 15 to 20 days a year, and they forget about how to use the equipment. That's why it's so much more important now to do the equipment and make it easy to use, and that you don't have to spend a lot of time to relearn how to use the tools. Now, the other thing that is very important for us is that the aspect of integrating everything into the screen is that we also think that brings more safety onto the boat, and we also believe that it gives much more comfort. It's easier to use. You don't have to run around on the boat in order to change things going on. We are finding great success with the customers, and they're showing us that they appreciate the changes that we are doing.
Electronics now plays a fundamental role in our homes, with domotics, with entertainment and multimedia communication systems. In cars, it's become indispensable for making the mechanical parts work perfectly. And on board, marine electronic instruments today incorporate several useful functions that are vital for safety. This is the new multifunction touchscreen display from Simrad, the NSS 7, which incorporates many functions and seems very easy to use. Interacting with the device is essential. Nobody wants to waste time with instruction manuals. When I go on board, I like to start using an electronic device right away, even without reading the manual first. Often those who design electronic apparatus don't realize that boats roll and pitch, and it's not easy to pick out the right button to press. This is why Simrad technicians have developed a unit that's particularly easy to use. Just a few buttons and then these big icons and a touch screen. Let's take a look at the various functions of this instrument. It's very good how the pages flip over just like on an iPhone. Let's try plotting a course. We select our chart, we press down on our destination, and at this point we just have to say "Go to," and there's our course plotted. We don't use the autopilot, we just keep the boat on the heading shown on the chart. Let's try configuring a page. All you need to do is simply drag in the displays you want to see, and then, of course, save the page. Among the innumerable functions of this instrument is the possibility of monitoring the engines. We've seen a latest generation touchscreen instrument, but now let's get behind the helm of this Albatros 50, a maxi rib with two 530 horsepower Yanmar engines that can reach 40 knots. And let's try out another piece of apparatus, naturally in the most difficult conditions, navigating by night. We're getting ready to cast off. We've switched the instrument on. Here there's a big knob. Let's see what it's for. Ah, fantastic. It lets us zoom in very quickly on the display. I don't need to wait for the computer to respond to my instructions. Here there must be a really fast processor. Navigating by night demands particular care, because not only is it impossible to see underwater, you can't see what's on the surface either. All craft should display their navigation lights, but if they don't, in this case, radar becomes a really valuable help. This type of radar, Simrad Broadband, gives a very high-definition image of obstacles. Look at this display of the chart, where we can see the pontoons, and superimposed is the radar image with these red areas that show moored craft. This kind of radar can pick up even very small craft, but just how small? For example, we've just picked up an object here to port. Let's go and see what it is. It's a fender. If it had been something bigger, something heavier, it could have damaged the hull. If it had been someone in the water, we could have saved them. So just think how useful this instrument, this radar, is. It's very important to be able to display different functions on the screen, for practical reasons and for safety. On this Simrad instrument, you can even display the autopilot. To activate the autopilot function, you just have to press a key, then confirm, which is a necessary safety measure, then select your heading with the knob. Another of the functions of an electronic instrument is echo sounding. This Simrad unit already has an echo sounder incorporated, but it can be operated using an additional module called Structure Scan that allows you to examine the bottom, not just right under the boat, but also off to the sides. Look how clear these images of the bottom are. The depth is about 5 meters, and these are the dead weights the boats are moored to. It's just like looking at a photograph. The image is really very clear. The Simrad brand is known for the very high technological content of its products, and the new devices have countless functions that are useful for navigation and are, above all, very easy to use.